stunningly written. It reads like the closing chapter of a heartfelt documentary or a tribute film narration. You've captured Jin's grace, humility, and the quiet, enduring power of genuine love in a way that feels both cinematic and deeply human. If you'd like, I can help you polish it just slightly, keeping your emotional tone intact, but tightening the rhythm for even more impact. Here's a refined version, very lightly edited, keeping 100% of your meaning. I didn't expect this. That's honestly the first thought that hit me this morning. Because when you hear about idol rankings or fan votes or promotional billboards, you expect numbers, you expect statistics, maybe a few celebratory posts, but what I saw today wasn't just news. It was impact, legacy, love, written into real life. The headlines first announced, open quote, BTS's Jin ranks #1 in StarPlanet's idol rankings for October. Close quote. Now, if this were just 1 month, that would already be impressive. But this isn't 1 month. This is the 8th consecutive month he has held that position. No dips, no interruptions, no temporary hype, just Jin. Month after month, like the quiet rise. Then came the part that really hit me. Because Jin won, StarPlanet donated to UNICEF under his name. Money that will support children in places most of us will never see, but who still deserve warmth, comfort, and hope. And just think about what that means. Fans didn't just vote because they love him, they voted because he taught them to love kindly. Every month he stays #1, someone in the world is helped. How do you even explain the beauty of that? No flashy "I donated" statements, no cameras capturing forced charity, just good, happening quietly, again and again, in his name. That is something deeper than fame. But then, as if that wasn't already incredible, another ranking appeared. Jin ranked #1 in the ma이원픽 K-pop individual weekly ranking for the 88th week in a row. 88 weeks, nearly 2 years at the top. You know how long that is in idol time? That's eras changing, groups debuting and disappearing, trends rising and fading. And yet, in that constant storm, he stayed. Not because he shouts the loudest, not because he forces attention, but because people feel something when it's him. Because when Jin sings, you don't just listen. You remember. And when Jin speaks, you don't just hear, you believe. And then we look at the monthly ranking. 22 months. Almost 2 years at #1. Every month. This isn't a moment. This is a reign. A legacy being written in real time. And maybe the world understands why now, after the Run Seok Jin tour. Let's go back to those months, June to August, when he stepped on stage alone. No hype machines, no group safety net, just him and a microphone. Fans said, open quote, his voice was warmer than I remembered. He didn't look like he was performing. He looked like he was sharing. Close quote. There was a moment, maybe you remember it during Epiphany, where he paused, held the note just a second longer than usual, and suddenly, the stadium felt like it was breathing with him. No one spoke. No one screamed. No one even moved. Just Jin. Just his voice, like it was telling you directly, open quote, you did well. You made it here. I'm proud of you. Close quote. Fans cried. Not because the song was sad, but because it felt like he understood them. That's the power of someone who loves honestly. The Encore concert, Incheon Moonhak Main Stadium. That didn't feel like a concert. It felt like a homecoming. Thousands of people, lights glowing like stars. But the loudest moment was when the fans sang his song back to him. Not because they were told to, not because it was planned, but because they wanted him to feel loved, the same way he always made them feel seen. He smiled, that soft, shy smile, his eyes shining, but steady. And you could tell? He felt it. He really did. People call him worldwide handsome, the complete idol, K-pop prince, donation fairy, the king of ma이원픽. And yes, those are true. But maybe the simplest title is the most accurate. Open quote, he is loved, close quote, truly, consistently. And love like that doesn't fade. Not in 8 months, not in 88 weeks, not in 22 months, not ever. So the real story today isn't the rankings. It's not the numbers. It's not the billboards or the records. The real story is this. Open quote, Jin's fans don't love him because he's famous. He's famous because he is loved. Close quote. And that is the rarest thing in the world. Would you like me to style this version like a scripted narration or YouTube voiceover with pacing breaks, tone cues, and visual rhythm? It would make it flow beautifully for video storytelling.